Than this one, and that one was also damaged by a fire, unrelated to the War of 1812. So the designers were tired of their buildings getting destroyed by a fire, so they weren't messing around this time, so they put this one on top of there, and that one is made of cast iron, and it's 9 million pounds. 9 million pounds. So fire's not going to get that one. Now we're going to go to the Capitol last. Guys, we're not going to be able to get out and walk around the Capitol, but we're going to drive around the Capitol last, because it's on our way back. There's a famous photograph of Abraham Lincoln during his second inauguration. Behind him, when he's giving that speech, is this dome, but it's only halfway finished. Famous photograph. And to the right, you have the Japanese-American Memorial of Patriotism during World War II. There's a wall in the back. Etched in on that wall, there are 10 names. Those are the 10 names of the internment camps in which the U.S. has placed over 150,000 Japanese-American citizens in during World War II. Over here, you have the Jones Day Law Firm, where most of the lawyers in D.C. work at. There are over 90,000 lawyers that practice law in D.C. Most of them practice there at the Jones Day Law Firm. And so the next is marble white gold lettering. This is the National Association of Letter Carriers Union. If you're friends with a local mailman or woman, chances are they belong to that union right there. I have a
Maya's online with us.
I used to be a mailman in Portland, Oregon.
She says, wow. Say hi to her.
To the right, yeah, the
Hi,
Francis
Maya,
Perkins
love
Department
you.
of Labor building. Francis Perkins was the first female cabinet member, appointed as labor secretary under Franklin Delano Roosevelt during the second presidency. Alright guys, we're about to enter into the National Mall area of D.C. This is where the area where people like to stand when watching the inauguration. The original design layout for the National Mall was actually to have the embassies surrounding the mall, but instead we decided to put most of the embassies on Embassy Row on Massachusetts Avenue above Georgetown. And instead we decided to put most of our Smithsonian museums in the mall.
We're on a bus tour going around the city of D.C.
Now guys, when we make this left-hand turn, the avenue that's going to be in front of us is going to be Pennsylvania Avenue.
My favorite.
Now after the president takes their oath of office on the west front of the Capitol, they march down Pennsylvania Avenue to their new home at the White House. Now the last president to walk the entire way down Pennsylvania Avenue was Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter was the last president to walk the Now this is Pennsylvania Avenue right here. They literally march right down the middle of this avenue. And you might be asking yourself, but there's all these things in the middle. There's all these poles and these green lights and these traffic lights in the way. Well, every 4 years, those lights and those poles are taken out of the way to make room for the inaugural parade.
She can hear pretty good.
Here.
She can hear pretty good.
That's pretty cool.
Again, there are 20 Smithsonians in the U.S. Washington, D.C. has 17 of them, and 14 of those Smithsonians are in this area here. And they're all free to get into, free to get into. Most of them open at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. and close at 5:30. Now to the right here, you have the National Gallery of Art. This is the east building of the National Gallery of Art. This holds more contemporary, modern, and abstract styles of art. This building is connected underground to the west building in front of us to the right. That's the west building there. They're connected underground like the Louvre in Paris. Now the National Gallery of Art, the west building is dedicated to more neoclassical, Italian, Renaissance, Dutch, and French style of art. And inside there you'll find the only Leonardo da Vinci painting shot with a very small bullet, and they say that if they would have just left the bullet inside him, he would have healed and lived a happy long life. But they say it was actually his doctors that killed him, because back then we didn't know about germs or sanitary conditions, and his doctors were digging around trying to find that bullet, and in doing so, after his surgery, he died 5 weeks later of blood poisoning from complications from that surgery. Now guys, they were also testing out the first prototype for the first x-ray machine. They kept putting the x-ray machine on top of James A. Garfield, and it kept beeping. Wherever that x-ray machine would beep, they thought that that's where the bullet was, so they were going to open his mouth. What it turns out the x-ray machine was actually capturing were the springs in the bed underneath it. Very unfortunate. James A. Garfield was a very beloved president. Everyone loved James A. Garfield. Now the man who shot him, the reason why he shot him
ice cream
is
trucks over there, Mama.
writing James A. Garfield,
Ice cream trucks.
telling him about his qualifications so that he could get a job in Congress. And James A. Garfield kept writing him back saying, "You're not qualified for this job." And the man kept writing him, James A. Garfield back saying, "I am qualified for this job." He would do this back and forth until he finally got fed up and just shot James A. Garfield. Clearly, he was not qualified for the job.
West of the Capitol, I believe. I can't understand what you're asking.
So the next area we're coming to our right, this is the National Sculpture Garden. One of the 3 properties up there. Find a lot of different abstract sculptures in here. My favorite sculpture is a sculpture of a metal tree that's inside here. I like to go inside here, sit on a bench, and watch the squirrels try and climb up this metal tree.
Hi, Nav. Give me a shout out.
That's over here to the right there.
We're going on a bus tour, night tour around DC.
And our next museum coming up to the right is going to be the Stones and Bones Museum, National Museum of Natural History. Inside here you'll find a lot of dinosaur bones in the prehistoric room, including a newly discovered dinosaur that was just discovered in the mountains of Montana. They have an ocean room where you can see Henry the whale. They have a mammal room, and also a gems room, where you can see one of the most sought-after stones in the world, the Hope Diamond, which is a necklace that used to belong to Mary Antoinette, but she ended up having no place to put it. Now they say that that stone is cursed because everyone that it's belonged to has had something bad happen to them, including Mary Antoinette. Now guys, over to the left, across the way there, that is the Smithsonian Red Castle, and that was the first Smithsonian to be put in place. You can see a statue of James Smithson in front, and he is the founder of the Smithsonian Institute. Now James Smithson was an English chemist, and he's born as the illegitimate son of the Duke of Northumberland and born in secret in Paris, France. Now being semi-part of a royal family, he inherited some money, but he didn't get all the perks of being part of a royal family. So during his life, he always looked over to the U.S. and admired the U.S. for being able to be anything he wanted to be without having to be a part of a royal family. So after he died, he willed the U.S. $508,000 for the advancement of arts and knowledge. Now with that money, we put in place the Smithsonian Red Castle. And at the time, $508,000 was worth a lot more money. Now James Smithson never set foot in the U.S. during his lifetime, but his remains are actually entombed inside the Smithsonian Red Castle. That's how much he admired the U.S. Now this next museum over to our right coming up is the National Museum of American History. Inside here you can see the popular exhibit of the First Lady gowns. You can also see the very flag that inspired the Star-Spangled Banner from the War of 1812. During the War of 1812, Francis Scott Key went to Baltimore to go and board a British naval ship. And while he was there, he went on board a British naval ship to negotiate the release of U.S. prisoners. And while he was there on a truce. While he was there, a battle broke out outside. And this battle immediately broke that truce. So you can imagine how nervous he was waiting for this battle to end, because depending on who won this battle is basically what his life depended on. Finally the battle ended and the shooting stopped, and when he looked outside the window there, he saw the Star-Spangled Banner waving there in the wind. At the time, that wasn't our nation's flag. That was the flag we rose to let everyone know who won that battle. So when he saw that flag, he knew that his life was no longer in danger. It's a very large flag. It's on display inside here in the low lighting because it's from the War of 1812. So they want to preserve it for as long as possible. It's got a lot of sun damage on it. Now guys, when we come down here, if you look to your right across the street there, that's the National Museum of African American History and Culture. It's the newest addition to the Smithsonian Institute. It just opened last year. The outside is designed to resemble Nigerian crown. And what you're seeing here is less than 50% of the museum. Yes, we're 60% of this museum there. Underground, correct. Okay, there's a whole floor dedicated to the largest donor of that museum. Anyone have any idea who that might be? Oprah Winfrey, correct. She donated $22 million to building that museum. Inside there you can see the very bus that Rosa Parks rode on. They actually had to put the bus there and construct the museum all around it for obvious reasons. It's kind of hard to get a bus inside a building.
Pretty cool.
Now guys, in front of us you have the Washington Monument. Washington Monument stands 555 feet tall. Does anybody know the difference between a monument and a memorial? A monument is designed, perceived, or built while the person or event is still around. And a memorial is designed, perceived, or built after that person or event has already passed. Now this is the Washington Monument. It was started to be built in 1848. Was George Washington still alive in 1848?
Obviously not.
No, he wasn't. But the Washington Monument was part of the original design layout for Washington, D.C., in which he was alive to see. So, because of that reason, it is still the Washington Monument, not the Washington Memorial. Now guys, there's usually an elevator that would take you to the top. However, it was damaged by an damaged by an earthquake 5 years ago. Now they said they're going to fix it in 2018. But guess what they said about 2017 and 2016? So we'll see. There's actually 897 stairs that will get you to the top. However, they're not open to the public anymore. But even if they were, would you do it?
Yeah, I would.
I definitely would do it. My dad says he's done it, but he likes to take pictures of everything. And since there's no pictures of him up there, guess what? I don't really believe it.
I would do it.
A lot of people don't know this. There's actually a small piece of metal at the very top of the monument. It's only 3 inches in length. It's a piece of aluminum. Now, why would a piece of aluminum be up there?
All they could afford.
At the time, aluminum was considered to be worth more than gold. I always feel sorry for the poor soul that probably invested all their money in aluminum back then. Unless they're the Reynolds Corporation, then turned out pretty good.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Now guys, I want you to take a look at the monument one more time. Look really closely at it. You'll notice a third of the way up it changes tone. It goes from a lighter tone in the bottom third to a darker tone in the top 2/3. Everyone see that? That's because late at night when we go to clean the monument, the hoses can only reach so far up. Just kidding. Actually, it has to do because in 1848 we started building it. We wanted to use all private funds. Well, we got a third of the way up, and in 1854, guess what happened? We ran out of money. And then the Civil War happened. So our fiscal priorities were going elsewhere. So it remained there uncompleted for 23 years. The locals called it the Grand Stump. It was this big ugly thing just sitting there. And finally, 23 years later, in 1877, we decided, hey, we should probably finish this thing, don't you think? Now the private funds were no longer there, so we actually had to go to Congress to appropriate funds to finish the monument. And when we did, the original quarry we had used had all dried up. So, the original stone was no longer available, so we had to use a different set of stone. Which is a much more boring story than my original story. Now guys, to the right, coming up, we're going to have the Executive Mansion. This is the south front and south lawn of the White House. coming up to our right. And once again, guys, I can't stop here. I've tried to stop before, and they just wave a light to me saying, keep moving, keep moving. So I'll go nice and slow through here, okay? Now the president occupies the top 2 floors. The Oval Office is on the bottom floor to the left-hand side on the west wing side of the White House. And to the right, guys, to the right.
Oh. That's actually where he lives.
Now guys, in 1948, the White House was in such bad shape that they were originally going to condemn the entire White House. But the president at the time was Harry Truman.
Yep,
and he
let's see
decided
the
to
White
just gut
House.
the entire inside and re-renovate the inside of the White House. And he was happy to do this because he was convinced that the White House was haunted. He said that he saw George Washington hanging out in the halls of the White House on many occasions, which is quite interesting because guess who never lived there? George Washington never lived there, correct. Now guys, we're going down Constitution Avenue right now. It used to be a canal. And the man in charge of this canal was the old lockkeeper. And the old lockkeeper lived in this tiny house to our left, in the corner there, with his wife and 13 children. He was in charge of the locks and the covers and keeping it in. Now over to the left here, you have Constitution Park. You have a lake here, and you have an island. On the island, you have the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence Memorial. And on the plaque there, they have the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence. And it's a good thing we have that because if you were to try to go into the archives and read the Declaration of Independence, it's virtually unreadable now. The only person you can read is John Hancock's signature. So it's a good thing we have that memorial with a plaque on it that tells you who all the signers are. Otherwise, we wouldn't know, right? To the right, you have the Department of Interior. And this next building to our right is going to be the Federal Reserve Bank, a private bank that loans money to the government at currently low interest rates. You guys sound so excited right now. Now to the right here, we have the Academy of Sciences. Now out front of the Academy of Sciences, you're going to see here a statue. This statue is of Albert Einstein. And he's one of 2 statues in DC that you're allowed to climb on. See all those kids climbing on him right now? You'll notice his nose is a different color than the rest of his body, and that's because people like to rub his nose. They think that it gives them his wisdom.
Ooh, that's neat.
Who is that?
Albert
And this
Einstein.
statue was dedicated here on his 100th birthday.
That's cool.
Yeah. You see his head, that's it.
I wish you were here too.
Interesting fact, if you do see a statue sitting on a bench, that means you're allowed to climb on them.
Oh, that's cool. I like that statue.
And to the right here, you have the American Farmers. It's actually a very beautiful building. This is the U.S. Institute of Peace building. The rooftop there is designed to resemble the wings of a dove. The organization's been around since 1984. They didn't get their own building until 2011. Their job is to find conflicts around the world that can be resolved peacefully. So let's go over to your west, you're going to see a beautiful building with gold pillars here. This is the John F. Kennedy World John F. Kennedy, as well as one of the most visited performing arts centers in the country, with over 2 million visitors a year. Now here at the John F. Kennedy Performing Arts Center, they have free concerts there every night at 6 p.m. on the Millennium Stage.
Every free concert.
Now to the right down yonder from the Mississippi River there, you have Georgetown, which was originally settled by tobacco farmers. And in the back there, in the distance there, you can see the National Cathedral there in the distance.
There it is.
That's where Helen Keller and Woodrow Wilson are buried. And Woodrow Wilson is the only U.S. president buried in Washington, D.C. Virginia. Now,
pretty.
Roslyn, Virginia is where the internet was invented. So let's give Roslyn, Virginia a round of applause. That's what we do without the internet, right? Now, it started out as a military project. In charge of that project was Al Gore. And if you ask him today, he'll tell you he invented the internet. Which is partly true. It was him and a team of a lot of other people. Alright, guys, we are officially in Virginia right now.
That's a
We are in
big,
Virginia.
huge thing. Oh, yeah.
In front of us, you have the U.S. Marine Corps Memorial, our next stop.
Oh, there's your Iwo Jima.
Oh, good.
Now, you might recognize that iconic image. It's modeled, designed after the famous photograph taken by Joe Louis of the
That's
Associated
huge.
Press of the second flag raising on top of Mount Sarasate on the island of Iwo Jima. Guys, part of our strategy during World War II was to island hop the islands of the Pacific to try and gain ground on Imperial Japan. Now, when we came across Iwo Jima, we originally thought it was deserted.
Yeah,
And when we landed, to our surprise, there were
Oh,
thousands
stop
of
it.
Japanese soldiers hidden in underground bunkers and tunnels. And we ended up losing 7,000 men in the battle for Iwo Jima.
Yep.
Now, eventually, we did conquer the island. And we put emergency landing strips on the island of Iwo Jima, which ended up saving a lot of lives during World War II.
Missed that last part. What saved a lot of lives?
I don't know.
Sorry guys, I like to concentrate on my driving in these kind of weird maneuvers here.
Well, we've eaten at several places. We've eaten steak, we've eaten lobster, we've eaten really good hamburgers, we've eaten lots of good food here in DC so far. We ate really good pizza today, so lots of good food.
I believe it's just an argument. Alright guys, coming up, it's really important because coming up there's going to be an airbase. It's called Fort Myer Air Base. And it's really important that we don't take any pictures when we go around this patch.
Do we know live streaming either?
Looks like there's something going on here right now.
We're not supposed to be shooting it now? We're supposed to be shooting?
He said we
Okay.
go around the bend.
Okay, we're going to have to shut off, guys. Good night.
Love you.
Does anybody know what's going on here right now?